On that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on kind of an introduction of the Family Man Project, kind of where we've been up to this point, and then I'm going to turn it over to Tim to kind of talk about kind of the trail plans up there. So the Family Man staging area is located on County Forest, about a half mile past the end of the pavement on Rorden Hill Road. Over the last couple of years, the County Forestry Department has worked with the Hood River Area Trail Stewards on a proposal to redesign trails in the Family Man Skills Complex. Following initial project review, the Forestry Department incorporated a few things onto the project timeline, including thinning of the timber in the Family Man Skills Complex and construction of a bypass road to get around the staging area itself. And that allows for a much more safer route around the staging area. And then the thinning also just really helped to improve forest health and looking into the future there for that site. The Forestry Department also applied for a recreation trail program grant with OPRD to make additional improvements to the staging area over the next couple of years. We have not received that grant yet, but we're in the hopper, so more to come on that. During the same time, plans continued to be developed for the skills complex and the trails there. Primarily by the trail proposal representative, Tim Mixon, and included walkthroughs with the Forestry Department and other interested parties. Final trail project review by the Forest Recreation Trail Committee was completed earlier this month, along with a public walkthrough with forestry staff, HRAT's Trail Committee, and the public invited. The Recreation Trail Committee unanimously affirmed the project moving forward earlier this month. And so I'd like to turn it over to Tim at this point. Are you able to get that on the screen or not?
Doug, you're a panelist, so you can share. You can now share your screen.
Make sure I get the right one here. Try
that. I guess I'll just start talking. I'm Tim Mixon. I'm the president of HRATS. Family Man is something that I've been working on for a long time. I was just thinking I came to Les before I even joined HRATS. It's actually a pretty good story. I mean, I was like, it actually works. It actually works to go talk to your commissioner.
To Les?
Yeah.
It was earlier. Oh, okay. Back when you cared.
It's really, really cool to see the Hood River County Forestry Department and HRATS and the community working together on this. Is really a big deal to me. Family Man has been something that was put together really pretty ad hoc. Everyone loved it, but it really needed a refresher. There was way too many trees up there. So we got together and the good compromise was pull enough trees out of there to make it a healthy forest and to make some money. The bypass road was a very, very good idea. It makes it a lot safer up there. I don't know if you guys have been up there, but on certain nights in the summer, mainly spring and fall, not necessarily August, there's hundreds of kids up there playing. It's really, really cool.
I don't want to go deep into the trails details because I'm not sure you're into it, but I want to be really clear that all the trails up there, all the non-moto trails up in Post Canyon have really been built ad hoc. And this is really one of the first times we've said what is needed, and we're making a progressive skills park. And as I go through the trails quickly, I want you to understand that a lot of thought has been made to how people can progress in their very diverse use of mountain bike trails. I think that's super important. And I'm just going to dive in. Will you just mouse over? Oh, I can do it. So can you see the mouse?
Yeah, I sit in bottom right
Yep.
corner.
It's a little slow. Okay, parking area. Boy, this is slow. Parking area is right there, and Reardon is up here. North, as he's got pointed, is to the left. So parking area is here, and right off the parking area is going to be what we're going to call Lollipop Lane. The old Family Man had a 50-yard by 20-yard tiny little loop. The goal is to make it the most badass lollipop lane for kids on striders, kids walking around, kids that can barely ride. It's going to be little rollers, things they can walk up. They're not going to fall and get used to it. Very fun. I'm pretty proud of the fact that 2 parents in town have decided to adopt this after we're finished with it. And they're on the board of the new school, and the new school is going to take it on as a project, which is really cool. Moving on from there, just to the east of there is going to be a flat area, and we're going to make it so that you can work on bike skills there. Camps can be held there, classes can be held there, and you can just ride around so you don't have to be on a trail. And there'll be a few wood features there just to work on basic techniques. That's a good point to say that I've worked pretty hard. We've worked really hard with the schools in town. There's 3 pretty significant mountain bike schools happening in Hood River with hundreds of kids involved. It's pretty amazing. Working your way around the outside, the green trails were already there. We're going to make that be very beginner friendly with some added features just for learning. The camps and the schools would like that. We're going to, as you go along, what we're calling the east side line. Boy, this mouse is really slow. I guess I should be looking at this. There's going to be a new trail here, very beginner friendly, maybe a few features, maybe a few rolls. And actually, these 2 beginner trails are kind of what spurred us on to do this. One of the big complaints with Family Man, there was nothing downhill and very beginner. So on these 2 trails, the builders, Gary Posh is going to build this, and a guy named Jeff Kendall is going to adopt it. It's going to be very beginner friendly. And the biggest jump trail in Family Man now is called middle school. These are going to be 1st and 2nd grade. So you kind of get the idea. There'll be a few drops and through burns, but very beginner. And then working back, I'm going to talk about these 3 lines. Look at this. The 3 lines here. This has been really unique how we work this out. The middle line is what is currently middle school. We realized middle school is a jump line, fairly difficult. That's kind of what we wanted to work towards. We wanted people to learn to be able to do this. We realized Doug did a little more thinning than we realized. So we're going to put a trail off to the left of it. That's going to be the new middle school. And that's the benchmark of the difficulty for this year's middle Family Man. Then in the inside line is going to be a trail we call 5th grade, slightly easier jump line. Gary Posh again is going to build that. And then on the inside there is a trail we're probably going to call 3rd grade. You can imagine what that is. So you can see we're working people up. The whole goal on jumps was to work people towards the difficulty of what's called middle school, because in the rest of Post Canyon, there's a lot more difficult trails. And we want people to understand that. We want people to feel safe. The last thing we're building, there was some drops that we called the Klee drops. Matt Klee was a guy who died. He was the ex-president of HRATS, and he and his brother had these built, and we're going to rebuild them in a very progressive way. 1 foot drop, 2 foot drop, 3 foot drop, and 4 foot drop. 4 foot drop's a pretty big drop. But over here, there's a black trail called Dropout, and the very first drop is 51 inches. So once again, we're working towards getting people to the rest of the trail system. I think that's about as quick as I can go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions?
Could you just point out to where the bypass road goes?
Oh, yeah.
Show her.
Oh, is it not on it?
No,
It's
no.
not showing, like it's on the original. It's really faint.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe-
Okay. So the old trail goes through the parking lot,
The old road.
the old road, and the new road just goes around that red trail that's right. Oh, I got to do it here. The new road goes around the whole Family Man system. There's a trail in here that, what are we calling that?
Clickbait.
Okay, clickbait. It's that trail will be hopefully built with the grant that Hood River County wrote and a bunch of other stuff. And hopefully that comes in, and will be huge.
So will the old road dead end?
Yes,
So it'll just be parking.
Yes.
Traffic.
they clear cut one section next to it so that you can put more parking in with the grant money.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a small patch really, but it's, an extra 60, 70 feet, 40 feet.
A lot of cars will go there.
And so some extra cars there, and there's a gate there on that old main road, so instead of me, we'll have that closed unless there's an emergency situation, we could open it, but that way, yeah, for anybody wanting to go further up Gordon Hill Road back and forth, they would go around the bypass to the south, or the staging area to the south side or the right side of it on the map. And it just connects back into the main road there, and it actually flows a lot better. If you're coming down the hill, it kind of flows down through. So you won't have heavy equipment and that kind of thing coming down through a very congested staging area.
A lot of trucks driving through, little kids on Stratter
Yeah,
bikes.
that
Yeah.
was really,
High school students said they pick up trucks.
yes.
Could you talk to the public involvement to date in this process?
That's it. I dropped that out. So they've clear cut. If you go up there, there's a lot of trees. It's going to be gorgeous. But there was a lot of mess on the ground. And I think it was TJ's idea that, well, there's some grant funding for fuel reduction, but we didn't have enough for this guy to drive around and mulch up the entire forest. So what we did was, which I think was TJ's idea, is we got volunteers to come up and we just dragged them into long windrows. No higher than 3 feet, no wider than 6.
That was the
6 feet,
plan, but
and no bigger than 6 inches.
Don't let me.
Well, I put the word out there and 180 people showed up over 2 Saturdays, 2 pretty cold Saturdays. And it's going to be interesting when they go mow that stuff down, but we did it. Like there's stuff on the ground, but before you couldn't even walk. It was a mess.
yeah, and I would also add to the on public involvement, I do believe the HRATs meetings are invited to all, and people can show up, and it tends to be a topic, at least at the few that I've attended, and as well as the recreational trail committee. When we have our meetings, we send out a mass email to everyone on our email list to come in, and there's a period for public speaking where people can come in, ask questions, raise concerns, and I do believe on the ones that I've attended that the family man topic has come up at each meeting.
Any other questions? Any other comments? Anything else you wanted
Excited to see
to?
it.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
And people can't go up there yet, right?
No, they can.
Well, I thought
It is, it's going to be closed for a few days here when we have to treat the slash.
Right.
And then, but generally it's open. right
It's
now.
open, the trails are kind of unrecognizable at this point in time, but if you did want to go up there and just enjoy the forest or walk your dog or kind of just see what's been going on.
We've been getting questions from runners and dog walkers.
Yeah, people do go just to the staging area and go from there.
And the first order of business for the contractors when they come in is to reestablish what's known as the central line that goes from the top of Cardiac that connects over to the exit of Baby GP to repair the equipment damage that's taken place and establish the through route, for people to pass through the trail system and enjoy it. But during the slash reduction project, as you can imagine, it's a fairly violent project, so we'll be closing the area down.
You're gonna mulch it, the windrows will be mulch them?
Yeah,
Chopped up masticator on a
Masticator,
small
So it's
skid steer
7-foot blade at a few thousand RPM.
drum on about 7 feet wide.
It's
So
gonna be fun
it'd
to
be
watch.
pretty impressive.
I went through my cherries last year.
How did you?
Preferably no one's that close.
Is it gonna happen this week?
yet to be determined, but we do have plans to acquire some footage of the process to share with all the volunteers that showed up. So,
Great.
Didn't puncture our water line.
Not yet.
no,
but
There's no water in it.
This still counts.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having.
We're gonna
us.
take like a 2-minute break so everybody can